Hi, I'm Peter Shannon. I'm the curator of birds at the Albuquerque Biological Park, and we're going to talk today about the Socorro dove program. It's a program that we got involved in back in 2008. The Socorro doves are a species that are highly endangered, and in the course of our project here in Albuquerque, we have developed a program that has resulted in about 40 birds being in U.S. zoos. So we are sort of the center of the conservation for Socorro doves in North America. The history of the Socorro dove, they used to occur only on an island off the west coast of Mexico. They were discovered back in the late 1800s and described as a unique species on Socorro Island. In 1957, the Mexican Navy established a military base on Socorro Island. And from that point, over the next 20 years, the birds in the wild disappeared. It's complicated as to why that happened, but over the period of about 20 years, they became extinct in the wild. The last sighting was in 1972. Meantime, the private aviculturists, both in the U.S. and Europe, had been breeding them. The Albuquerque Biological Park got involved in 2008 when we imported 12 birds from Europe to the Albuquerque Zoo. So from those 12 birds, we've been breeding them over the last few years, and the North American population has now grown to about 40 individuals. There are 5 or 6 institutions involved besides us. And we got to the point where we had enough birds on hand from our breeding programs to be able to send some birds to Mexico. So there's a facility in Mexico called Africam Safari, southeast of Mexico City. So recently we sent 6 of the birds that we bred here in the U.S. to that facility. But it's a historic event because we have just returned to Mexico a species that's been extinct in the wild for 40 years. So it's a really big thing for Mexico to have these birds once again back in their facilities. The ultimate goal is for them to breed them and eventually start reintroduction programs on Socorro Island itself. There are lots of issues on the island that have to be taken care of. Habitat issues, invasive species, those things need to be dealt with. But we're hoping that sometime in not the real near future, but over the next few years, a program can be put together where birds being bred at African Safari and in the U.S. can be sent back to Socorro to begin the release programs. So it's a very cool conservation story. It's going on for a very long time, but this sending birds back to Mexico, that's a major step in the progress of the program.